what are you doing?
Well, I'm currently a student over at Kendall for Grand Rapids. I'm a first year. That's all I have to really say about myself.
Okay.
Okay, and might I ask what church is affiliated with us?
Oh, you could ask. I don't have a short answer. We don't meet in a building. We don't have a denomination. So it's not Baptist or Methodist. It's a house church. There's a house church over on 18 Lowell Avenue here in Grand Rapids.
Okay. I was actually looking at your sign and I'm confused. Why are you guys against sports?
Well, the question is, what is your top priority? What is your purpose for living?
Well, I'd like to be able to think that my best talent and possible purpose for a job is art. So that's what I'd like to be able to say it is.
So then, what's the purpose of your art?
Well, to be able to, becoming a graphic designer, I like to be able to make appealing artwork that hopefully one day I can also sell to other people.
Right. So then, there's still a framework I haven't asked you the right question about, but I'll give you an example. That's all right. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay, so you might have missed it, but a few years ago, I don't even remember the details, the National Endowment for the Arts was part of a big controversy because some man did something peeing on something. I can't remember if it was a photograph or a painting or what, but they called it art. And so there was a big question raised, is this really art? Well, what I understand from the Word of God is that our art should glorify God. So everything you've said is fine, it wouldn't argue with that. The question would be, what is it you would be seeking to communicate or accomplish in what you sell? For example, you do know, I'm sure, that for a while, what do they call those things? The Indian things with the feathers in a circle.
Oh,
dream catchers.
Yeah, dream catchers.
Yeah. And so anybody who wanted to mass produce those could sell them.
Right.
And what's the purpose? Well, some people are making money. It's simply a matter of economics. Other people are promoting Indian religion. If there is some tribe that really had those, we assumed there was. None of the tribes I used to teach out on the Indian reservation in Arizona. So none of the tribes I knew had anything like that. But I mean, there were 22 tribes in the state of Arizona alone. So certainly it could be legitimately Indian. And then it's ultimately, it's putting forth Indian religion as opposed to the truth of God. And so I would look at my art and say, how's it going to glorify God? Well, it should represent truth. It needs to be true. It needs to be modest. It needs to be beautiful in the sense of making people think. It might be beautifully ugly, you know, like, can't think of his name now. Somebody painted the crucifixion in such a way that there was a man who saw that and worshiped God when he saw it. And that's what I'd like to do. I mean, it takes me a long time to draw anything.
That policeman came over.
Did he? Can you stay right here?
Here comes the occupied. The mama said they might want to go back.
So, anyway,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Before I knew Jesus, I lived to please myself. I lived for pleasure. And the only problem with that, from a strictly selfish perspective, what would be the problem? Well, the problem is that there are certain unbreakable principles in God's world. And when you try to deny them, you break yourself. For example, promiscuous sex leads to broken families, venereal diseases, aborted babies, unwanted children, disrespected women, and probably a host of other things as well. It does. It doesn't matter. It does.
Okay.
So you can decide that, and I don't know about you, I didn't decide. I just did what felt good.
So, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So, basically for my figure drawings, because I'm going to have a figure drawing class in the near future, when I'm drawing people that are possibly nude, that's a sin?
Well, personally, first of all, Leonardo da Vinci, who did a great anatomy work hundreds of years ago, was likely a Christian. I don't think he advocated that you had to do that. It certainly promotes lewdness and sin. might be possible to sit in that class and draw those drawings, but is that the only way to learn anatomy?
Well, I think it's a great visual learning experience. I mean, I can then learn how the body's contours work for future drawings.
Right. And I could say to you, okay, well, I'll put on some of these modern clothes, you know, these nylon body revealing things that they put on from head to toe, and if you've been down here, you know, they even have them for the head now. And so you could get all the muscles down, but then I would also have to be the devil's advocate, as they say, and say, well, I'm not sure that's a whole lot more modest if it's showing every curve of the body. But maybe it is, I don't know. The point is that if you can take it to the Lord in prayer and study His Word and participate by faith that it's not wrong, you're not compromising, you're not violating your conscience, then you can probably go forward. But if you're compromising, God would rather have you say no and lead you. Maybe He's going to have you do some other area of art. You know, like the human figure is kind of like one area, and they teach you that, and they teach you lights and shadows and, you know, negative space and, you know, whatever else. But maybe He wants to shut that door. And I'm saying, hear me, if you can't in good faith, if you perceive it as a compromise and you just want to compromise for the sake of the goal, and you plan it to be your only compromise, God might use that to shut that door in that area, and, you know, who knows, maybe you'll open up a new platform. You'll go to the, whatever it is, the advisor, and say, you know what, my conscience won't let me take these classes. Can I still get a degree? And they'll say, well, no, you'll be 3 credits short of a degree. And so maybe you go to some art school in Detroit to finish your degree, and then you meet your husband, and then you trip a job and my dad did commercial art for advertising, and he liked to draw, and he liked art, and he liked, you know, all the things we're talking about. I think we're gonna have to. But anyway, I don't think you've even begun to ask me the most important questions on your heart.
Okay. Well, yeah, I actually do have a few other questions relating to your house
Can you
church.
walk with us?
Sure, I don't mind.
I'm parked up the Crescent Hill, and I think he's just parked up here a couple blocks. All right.
Okay. Here, I'll just go ahead and shut